Okay, four people. Welcome to Sunday night. It is currently 6:20 p.m. and I'm just gonna make some dinner for myself and wash some veggies. And I figured I'd go live. Not a lot on the agenda, but um, I was walking back from hanging out with a friend and someone commented, thank you for the bless you. Somebody commented on one of my Instagram posts, like, really enjoy the Sunday lives. It's very therapeutic. So I figured, I don't have much to say this week. I'm pretty exhausted. But I figured we're here. So let's cook together. I bought some onions for $1 today. One of them is not doing so hot, so I think we're gonna process that onion. I have some radish greens and radish soaking, so we'll rinse those out. I have some bean curd, dried bean curd that is rehydrating right now, and I think I'm gonna blanch the radish greens and blanch the bean curd, and then we can dress it really simply with a sesame oil, whatever. And I also bought some carrots and some parsnips. These are from the farmer's market. And I bought a mountain yam from the Chinese market yesterday. My uncle told me I should eat some of this. It's good for me. And Mom actually used to cook this for me all the time. I never made it for myself. So I figured what we can do is maybe just boil this with some dumplings and eat it with our greens and yuba, and that could be like a dumpling soup dinner of sorts. So no grand plans for anything special, as you know, we're just chaotically getting by every day, and that's it. Welcome. Yes, free Palestine, even though that is mirrored, but yes, free Palestine. And I don't want these sayings to be empty because it's feeling really empty to me because clearly we're not freeing Palestine in the literal sense because our world order is just so fucked up. But I do think that internally, if we believe in a free Palestine, that extends to our entire life and how we live and what we believe in. Palestine is a real place with real people, real culture, real history, but Palestine is also truly symbolic now. So in all the ways, may we free Palestine, starting with ourselves. I actually contemplated whether or not I should scream Free Palestine on Friday. My friend Giannis invited me to go to a play at the NYU Skirball Center. And as you may or may not know, NYU, along with so many other universities, have been just completely thrashing their student and faculty for protesting in support of Palestine. But I decided I would just keep my mouth shut and wear my keffiyeh and just do that because I've seen a lot of footage of protesters showing up at these events and calling things out, things that totally make sense in my head, but ultimately it is kind of like fighting fire with water, and the water doesn't really work except to flame the fire even higher sometimes. We all just have to sit on it for a little bit and let it ferment. A lot of my life is fermentation right now. But the play was called Mary Said What She Said, and it is a French play adapted for the American audience, starring Isabelle Huppert. And it was very postmodern and experimental. And yes, happy Sunday scaries to everyone. Um, your hot dogs and microwave potatoes may make you look single, but we are all single here, okay? And the only reason why I'm not eating hot dogs and potatoes from the microwave is not because I don't want it, but I actually have to be a little even more mindful of my diet now. I got a blood test result back 2 weeks ago, last week. I can't keep track of time anymore. I'm pre-diabetic, or more like pre-diabetic, but these are metrics that have never shown up as abnormal for me before, ever. And these are a new abnormality. So while I'm not diabetic or even pre-diabetic, I am pre-diabetic. And my cholesterol is rising, and my T3 is low. Apparently that means I have thyroid issues potentially too. So those are my latest health updates. I'm not going to deprive myself of all processed sugars and all snack foods just yet. The day may come for me to do that, but now I am just equipped with the knowledge that my health is continuing on a path of sadness, and we'll monitor it. We won't freak out just yet, but we will be a little mindful of what we're putting into our bodies. I'm not going to get a continuous glucose monitor just yet. I don't want to create a layer of stress for myself just yet. Stress is extra important. I'm super sensitive to stress, and I just don't want to manufacture more stress prematurely. But yeah, carbs is the enemy, but also my kidneys can't handle protein, and now with my cholesterol, fats are the enemy too, I guess, although some say that carbs are actually more harmful for high cholesterol than fats. So jury's out, nobody really knows. We're still just going to live our lives as best as we can, and if I become pre-diabetic and that turns into diabetes, then I guess we'll deal with that. When the day comes, I don't even know if we'll be able to afford all the medical things that we'll need. So again, I'm not going to worry about that. I stopped reading the news, so can someone fill me in? Did we pass that bill that is cutting $800 billion away from social services, which includes Medicaid and the food stamp program? Because if that's the case, then YOLO, YOLO. I wish I could exercise more. I took some walks this weekend, but with long COVID and post-exertional malaise worsening the MECFS every time, exercise has been hard for me, but that is a huge part. Losing muscle means that your body doesn't process nutrition as well anymore. Just your cells kind of lose functionality as your muscles are disappearing, and it affects insulin processing as well. So all of it is linked, all of it is connected. I'm aware of that. I appreciate your advice, but I'm also just trying to not freak myself out, because it's just really funny. My grandmother refused to eat sugar because she was always afraid that she was going to get diabetes. Even when she was in her mid-90s, she refused to eat cake that Aaron bought her for her birthday. But looking back, Grandma loved the puddings and the ice creams that the facility gave her. So unless her taste buds were completely out of whack and she couldn't taste the sugar in that anymore, she definitely liked sugar. I wonder if it was just an excuse for Grandma to say she's afraid of diabetes so she doesn't have to eat cake, which might have been something that she wasn't interested in eating. So maybe it was her just doing her Chinese thing of being polite. And certainly it's a possibility that she was not actually afraid of diabetes, but just not a fan of cake. I got my A1C measured in this last blood test. It's 5.2, so it's not quite pre-diabetes yet, but it's on the higher end of the range, and combined with other metrics that came up in the blood test, it's aligning with pre-diabetes. So, yep, just keeping you updated on my latest health shit. Not that that was necessary at all. And now we may begin cooking. So I'm gonna set some water to boil for the greens. Let's get those started. You know, some people don't pay attention to their health for their entire lives and they still live to be a ripe old age, and some people just never have a good time with their health. So at the end of the day, I'm only gonna do my best if it doesn't stress me out, because I feel like I firmly believe now that the more you try to run away from your life and destiny and whatever this is, the more harm, or, you know, the less effective your efforts become. Obviously not scientific, but that's where I'm at in life right now. So just trying to not try too hard. I think the harder you try, the more you become attached to the outcome, and the more devastating it is when the outcome doesn't pan out. And I'm certainly not the most optimistic person in the world, but at a certain point, you just have to go, is this worth it? And if it doesn't feel worth it, then it doesn't feel worth it. It truly makes me wonder when, as a society, we ever decided that to live as long as possible was the best thing. Or maybe that was just never conscious. Maybe that was just like biologically ingrained in us. And if that's the case, then maybe with all the consciousness that we have, maybe we should reconsider the value of living as long as possible. Could be a fun exercise. I'm obviously still thinking about my mom's death. I'm thinking about my grandma's death. I'm thinking about Memo's impending doom, I suppose, and what it means to keep throwing my energy and effort and money at buying him food that he doesn't seem interested in eating. And, you know, is that doing me any good? Is that doing him any good? And I think I've reached the place where it's just like giving it up to whatever it may be. I think about what it means to quit in our societal context. I think about whether or not people think that just because you're not giving something 100% all the time that you've given up. And I wonder if that leads us to just lead a lifestyle of perpetual burnout, which doesn't seem great to me. Memo went into the cat tree, the bottom cubby, as I predicted. He has not explored further up, but he was kind of sleeping in the cubby for the first day that I set it up for him, and I was kind of worried that he wouldn't ever come out, but he came out eventually, sure enough. He just wanted to explore his new potential domicile. So that was fun. That was cute to see him enjoy that. It has been a very interesting just thought experiment of sorts in my head of like, what is worth doing? How do we decide what is worth doing? How do we decide when to call things quits? Whether it pertains to jobs or political action or relationships, personal goals. Like, at what point do you let something drive you nuts and to destruction? Certainly, we have a lot of stories in media that are pretty demonstrative of when people allow their own drive to kind of create destruction, more destruction than it creates goodness. Like, I was at my friend's just now and we watched French Connection, Gene Hackman movie, R.I.P. But yeah, it's about a cop who, like, can't give up on this drug bust, and he just, like, doesn't sleep and tails them all day long, and even when they have, you know, ID'd him, he still goes after him, and he, like, just does this never-ending chase, and, like, spoil alert, people die, bystanders die, and so, like, what are you doing this for, I guess, is a really important question. And sometimes I don't think things are worth doing. I didn't do my mental health, like, grading yet today. I think I'm at, like, a 7. Yes, it is an old movie. I'm at a 7 out of 10. Pretty good. I took a walk. I saw a friend. Memo didn't really eat, but I came back from my friend's and he let me pet him and he got like 8 treats down. So, all right, I'll take 8 treats over nothing. Yeah, I've become much more generous with my grading. I made a Letterboxd account finally. Late to the game because I'm a boomer now. And I found myself giving higher than what old June would have given these movies. Movies that she didn't even like, she gave 3 stars out of 5 to. I was like, who is she? But, you know, I'm trying to take it easy. And things don't have to be so tight all the time. All right, let's saute some onions and carrots. We got our chicken feet stock still. Smells good. Surprised it hasn't gone bad, but it hasn't. So we're not really gonna saute it as much as we're just gonna stew it, I guess. I'm gonna grate a little ginger in there. Something I've been thinking about recently too is how long it took me to realize that not everyone thinks the same way and wants the same things in life. Like, not everyone defines goodness the same way, and not everyone defines honesty the same way, and so just the different realities have made me realize how lucky I am to have found so many people who do see eye to eye with me on these things. So just feeling extra sweet about my friends and the people in my life and the things I've been afforded just socially. It's been a pretty awesome journey. It's not easy to find people who agree with you. So, what a feat. I like how someone in the comments said something like, June is just being June. Because I think some of the things I say sound alarming to people who don't know me. But once you know me, you're just like, that's just her. Like, she's not really saying anything extra suicidal. It's just her saying her mind. And it takes a while for people to understand each other on that level. So even to have internet strangers understand me on that level is kind of amazing. I think a lot of people have been feeling sorry or scared or worried for me because they didn't understand this aspect of me. And I think I didn't understand this aspect of me, or rather I didn't understand this aspect of how other people can't see things the way I see things. And so I was worried that they were worried for me, and it was just creating this like clusterfuck of worriedness that were all due to basic fundamental misunderstanding of my mentality and others' mentality. So learning how to understand each other is really hard. It requires you to kind of like step out of your own ego and to understand the other person on their own terms, which is really difficult to do. People write each other off so quickly. So quickly. It's really sad. It makes me sad. The moment someone doesn't fit with your worldview, the chances of like abandonment or discard, whatever you want to call it, is so high. And then there's just no curiosity or patience to kind of stick around and find out actually what it means. It's just a lot of us projecting our own definitions onto other people, myself included. I think a couple of weeks back I was talking about theory of mind and how it's a really fascinating concept that is much weaker for some folks who are autistic, I think folks who have BPD, just like not understanding that other people have a different mind that creates a different reality and a different world that they live in, that they may have different beliefs of what is what. So I've been trying to like be more mindful of that, to not presuppose meaning onto other people, unless they're being really annoying. Then yeah. Then I'm like, get the fuck out of my inbox. These are the Japanese radishes that I bought last week. They're really soft, but I think they're fine. They're just shrivelly and wrinkly, but we're gonna throw them into our stew. Maybe give them a little chop. Gotta do the first in, first out thing. Additionally, I bought this Chinese style cauliflower. It just has like tinier florets. It looks more like a flower. And I think I'm also gonna process it now, because if the week gets busy, this thing is just gonna get sadder in the fridge, and I don't want that. It's like way more delicate. And I look forward to reading your comments. I just have to concentrate on cooking because I'm getting hangry. So hangry. I'm gonna save the florets for cooking during the week, so I can still have some not leftover veggies, but I'm gonna cut up the stalks and just throw them in here because they have the same amount of hardiness as the other root vegetables that I put in there.
Okay, so we got florets prepped.
I'm gonna put some of this in our dumpling soup too. This Codonopsis lanceolata. I saw someone commenting on the sweater and jean combo. The sweater is actually, I found it in one of Grandma's tubs. I think this was one of Mom's sweaters because it was from United Benetton, United Colors of Benetton. Is that the brand? Mom used to love that brand. And so I found the sweater. Of course I had to wash it. And of course it shrunk. But somehow it fits still. Like the shoulders fit just right. And the length is kind of perfect. It's kind of giving that like crop top feel, which makes me look quite hip. Yes, I should be waving a wand. This is my wand. I stare with it all the time. How cool would it be if I actually were a witch, right? Just imagine that life story arc. Never fits in her whole life, finally discovers at the age of 38 that she's a witch. I think 38 is a great number because in Chinese colloquialisms, 38, 38, sanba is like calling someone a bitch, basically. So I feel like if I were to discover myself to be a witch at the age of 38, that would have so much joyousness in it. Waiting for the day to discover that. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna cut up more of those Cotonopsis lanceolata, whatever this is. And then we can just throw it into the soup and I'll eat it throughout the week. Yeah, Aaron told me to not OD on this. Apparently you can OD. I don't actually know what the consequences of ODing on Cotonopsis lanceolata is, but
I guess we'll see.
I guess we'll see. I do feel like maybe this is like a progression of my womanhood. Is I've reached the age where there's nothing I want more than to be a witch. Happy birthday to me, you know? And if anyone's confused, it's not my birthday. But every day is your birthday because every day you can be born anew. Okay, so into the stock pot. Let me take you guys closer. Into the stock pot where we have our onions, carrots, cauliflower stems, our witch's brew, phallic looking medicinal thing that I could possibly OD on. We have chicken stock. I'm gonna add a little more in here because I want to add some TVP in, but I also opened this Indonesian rendang earlier this week, so I figured we can finish out the packet now. And just drop it in here. So this is mighty salty. I won't be salting anything else, and I probably won't be adding any other spice either. But we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. Wait, this is really dumb. Why am I doing this when I could use Mom's handy dandy little strainer thingy-majiggy? If anybody knows what this thing is called, let me know, as I have no idea what it's called. Pork and leek dumplings. Let's do 4. I know 4 is not a great number, but I feel like we gotta get over the taboo and I just felt like having 4 dumplings. Alright, this is turning into a true trash soup, which is delightful. Because now we're going to add TVP. And then we'll have some protein and fiber and fat ready for us for at least the next 2 days, maybe 3. I'm gonna add in a little extra cumin, because TBH, I'm trying to use up this cumin. And I'll add a little bit of black pepper. And I think I should add some garlic powder. So in this bowl, we're gonna add a little grated ginger, a little sesame oil, a little salt, just give that a stir. I'm gonna taste it for salt. Also because I'm hungry. Could use more salt, but the dumplings will give us that salt. Then, since the TVP is soaked up pretty much all of the moisture, there's no soup left. I'm going to give this a little taste to check for seasoning. Not bad, not bad. Gonna add in a little bit of mom's soybean paste, just to give it a little extra salt and soy sauce umami, fermented bean paste sort of vibe. Stir that in. My aunt and my uncle were like trying to encourage me to not cook such big batches so that I don't subject myself to leftovers for days on end, because they think that it's not like nutritionally good to eat leftovers. They feel like some foods, I mean, they're probably right, some foods probably are less nutritious as time goes on, and I was like, listen, I'm single, I'm at home, it's a feat just to cook. So if I'm cooking one meal, that meal is going to last me at least 2.5 days. I don't have energy like that to cook. I'm not Ina Garten. I don't plan my days around entertaining myself and my friends. Alright. That should be good. I'm gonna turn the heat off when the dumplings are also ready. So. We're getting there soon. That back burner, you know what? Let's do a switch. The back burner is a little too slow for me. Okay, we're gonna cut some scallions in because my scallions are not doing so hot. And since I don't want to wash the board again, we're just literally cutting them. Oh God, we didn't cook this. Damn it! I knew I forgot something. Alright, so with this you have to peel it. It's like really hairy. And it gets really slimy. So you have to be very careful while cutting it. I believe my mom more than once cut her hand while prepping this. So we're gonna go slow, steady, making sure we are not drawing blood into the dish. My uncle actually told me that this is best steamed. So once the dumplings come out, what I'm gonna do is cut this up, put it in a little dish, and we're just going to steam it. Are you too deep? I think you're too deep. All right, let's find a heat-resistant vessel. No blood yet. Don't jinx me. We're gonna dump out some of this water. We're gonna leave some of the water in there. We're gonna put this little slat in and then rest this on top. Put the lid on and let it steam while we eat. So hopefully I can show you what it looks like cooked by the time we get off the live. Alright, I think that's done. I think we can turn that back one off. Yum. Yum, yum. Truly my favorite thing, man. Jail slop. Mush. Stew. Trash meal. Whatever you want to call it. I just love it. The dumplings are floating. I'm gonna let them go for just a couple of minutes more because the water wasn't up to a boil for a pretty long time there. And then we'll get ready to eat. Also, my friend Samira gave me 2 different kinds of Asian Oreos, so we can taste those as dessert if I remember. I just took a couple of each, but there's a yogurt Oreo, and then there's a vanilla Oreo that she loves, and they actually look a little different. The vanilla Oreo is like a Oreo thin, and then the color of the cocoa cookie is lighter. I'm definitely getting like sweet yogurt smell trapped into this little dish here. Excited, excited. Okie dokie. We are going to fish out our dumplings. Hopefully they're cooked. And we'll set the steamer for 20 minutes. I don't think it'll need that long, but 20 minutes it is. Now we get to eat. Now we get to eat. I'm so excited. And I'm so excited to read your comments. But mostly I'm excited to eat. Yum, 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 yum. Dumplings, veggies, soy, ginger, sesame oil, all the good stuff. Also, I haven't washed this yet, but I figured I'd show you guys. I thrifted this corduroy suit jacket from the Salvation Army near me. It feels so soft, and it was $9. That's backwards, but it is from a brand called Casual Corner, which apparently went bankrupt. And this was made in Korea. So I thought that was fascinating. I'll try it on for you. Nya, 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 nya. It's pink. It's soft. I hope to wash it and actually wear it. It says, of course, dry cleaning only. So I thought I figured, I try it on before I ruin it forever in the wash. I'm hoping it's washable, but who knows, because it says dry clean only. But ain't no way I'm gonna do a dry clean on a $9 suit jacket. Okay. Scrolling up to read your chats. Everybody wants to see what shit looks like in 200 years. What is that morbid curiosity? I don't think things are going to be that different in 200 years. Yeah, I think we'll have outrageous technology, but humans are still going to be this dumb, or even dumber. Guys, the cat tree video is so boring. I shot it. I went live at 11:30 p.m. I didn't even think I would finish assembling it, but I did. It's really dark. It's really blurry. I was really tired. I was just rambling, like I always do, but a much less energetic ramble. And it's just 20-minute segments of me trying to fit one screw into an opaque cardboard fabric covered hole. You're more than welcome to watch it, obviously, but it's not very engaging. Anyway, cheers. We give thanks to the workers that gave us these delightful things, and if there's a God, fuck you. Why is there still genocide? But also, I guess, thank you for this food. Thank you, Earth, for putting up with the vermin known as human beings. Just so you know, going forward, eliminate pork products a week before a cholesterol panel. Is that so doctors tell you to do cholesterol tests while fasting, and you're saying eliminate pork products a week before going in for the blood panel? At a certain point, I'm just are these metrics reliable? Why do we pay so much attention to them? Why are we altering our dietary habits in preparation for the test? Just trying to figure out what is going on. Yes, that was chicken foot broth, very gelatinous. And that was the second boil. The first boil, that shit, at 70-degree room temperature, doesn't even melt. It just stays as a gelatin. In fact, one day I ate like a quarter cup of it straight. Like a meat jello. It sounds disgusting, right? But the texture is so much better than jello because it's just so luxurious and like creamy almost the way it melts. And it's just, I don't know, man. I can't convince you to try out chicken feet stock, but truly amazing. Dead Sea Life says, if you're gonna make baked potatoes, cover that shit in tahini. Game changer. I don't like tahini. Unfortunately, I'm not a fan of the sour seasonings. It took me such a long time to just be okay with salt and vinegar chips. I am a walking HR nightmare. That's correct. And that's why I got fired. But also HR is cops. So I aim to be a walking HR nightmare. I'm proud of myself. I may not survive very well in this society and this world with that attitude, but I am proud of myself for being a walking HR nightmare. Yeah. Val says, I had a rough time this week with my depression until I realized I was mourning my mother leading up to my birthday. That shit is complicated. So nowadays, when I find myself feeling super down, super depressed, super sad, unmotivated, even like physically disabled, I just give myself that day to be disabled, to be sad, and awash. Because I've been realizing that more often than not, there is a very valid reason for why I'm feeling that way, and that's just the body needs a break. A lot of things cannot be consciously labeled and categorized and understood. All right. We're gonna eat a dumpling that grandma used to eat with a bite of veggies. Here we go. Rachel asked a while back, hey June, did you just say you think folks who have BPD don't understand that others have different opinions? Yeah, I know BPD is a spectrum like anything else. I was talking about theory of mind. If you look up the Wikipedia page for theory of mind, they list folks who have a weaker sense of theory of mind. And theory of mind is, according to Wikipedia, referring to the capacity to understand other individuals by ascribing mental states to them. A theory of mind includes the understanding that others' beliefs, desires, intentions, emotions, and thoughts may be different from one's own. Possessing a functional theory of mind is crucial for success in everyday human social interactions, and people use a theory of mind when analyzing, judging, and inferring others' behaviors. And it has been proposed, I'm not saying this is a fact, I'm just saying it has been proposed, I'm reading off of Wikipedia right now, that deficits in theory of mind may occur in people with autism, anorexia, schizophrenia, dysphoria, addiction, brain damage caused by alcohol, neurotoxicity, and BPD is not mentioned here, so I was wrong. But autism, for sure. this is what made me kind of click something inside, is like, you know, friends have been proposing that I could be possibly autistic. I have not been formally diagnosed, but I do think, looking back in my life experiences thus far, I've demonstrated a fairly weak theory of mind, because I've always assumed that others have similar ideals, values, ways of operation, which is why I think I've been so dumb in certain situations and just not understood things until after the fact. And usually after the fact is when I have been punished or just like ostracized or cast off in a lot of ways, because I just didn't understand why that person didn't function the way that I did, so I kept arguing with them thinking that they thought like I did, but clearly they didn't. So I was just basically banging my head against my own wall, and they were like, why are you banging your head on this wall? And I was like, there is no wall, because I thought I could get through to them if I kept charging ahead, but instead of getting through to them, I just mashed up against my own brain, because I have a weak theory of mind. So yeah, the farmer's market is not cheap. But then it makes me reflect on the cost of things, you know, the labor of things. And my dad came to visit me, and he walked with me as I did my farmer's market shopping like last month. And he was like, damn, these people haul all the way to sell these things and they're still making so little money. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So I may buy a bunch of radishes for $4 at the farmer's market that I could be getting for $1 elsewhere. But if the people making $4 are already working so hard to just make $4, what the fuck are the people making $1 radishes sell taking home? Gary, mysterious Good Samaritan trash picker upper. That's cute. Thanks for sharing. A broccoli thing with an egg yolk in the middle? Yum. That sounds so good. Broccoli, egg, and cheese. Is there cheese on there? So, a new friend recently told me that if you have ADHD and autism, the chances of you getting diagnosed decrease, which is why maybe a lot of later life diagnoses for ADHD, which is autism and ADHD, are more frequent, I guess. I don't know the word for it, my brain's kind of shot. But apparently, according to my friend, he's like, yeah, the ADHD symptoms and the autism symptoms kind of like cancel each other out in terms of masking to the outside world, so like other people don't perceive the inner chaos you're dealing with inside. And it makes you kind of more normal on the outside to other people, but you're not, you're just dealing with double the shitstorm inside. Siobhan, your face is like a strip mall? That sounds fun. Can we go shopping? In your strip mall of fate? I'm just seeing the question from Dead Sea Life asking where I can find truly organic lemons in our area. Didn't you say you were moving to Italy or something? I don't know. I don't know where to get organic lemons. I haven't seen any. They're not local here, so you're not gonna find them at the farmer's market either. At this point, I'm just like, pesticides? Sure, give it to me. Yes. Earrings show off. These are from China. They're from when I taught in China in 2011. I remember, I think I bought these in a mall somewhere in Beijing with my mom. So I bought these with my mom. Wow, it's been that long. Siobhan, you ate breakfast an hour ago? What time zone are you in? Alright, last dumpling. That was the perfect amount of dumplings because now I'm still hungry, but we can eat through the pot of mush. It's not burdock root. But it tastes similar. It's like fibrous like burdock. I don't know if you're referring to the thing that we can overdose on or the thing that I'm steaming. The thing that I'm steaming is called a mountain yam. And the time is almost up on the steam. But are you ready? Let's taste one. I haven't tried Too Good To Go, but Aaron has and he liked it. I think it's cooked. It's mildly sweet. Leaves a little gluey film on your lips, just a little bit. But not as like sticky as natto. Hot. I swear to God. Now we're gonna have some of our TVP vegetable mush. But first, I need a chip break. This is how I eat my meals, guys. We just go back and forth between different things. Sometimes between the like veggie stuff, I like to have a little bit of junk processed stuff. We're reaching the very end of this bag. I will just say, I've tasted like 3 or 4 different brands of lime flavored tortilla chips, and no one comes close to Tostitos. I don't know how they formulated that seasoning, but no one can beat them. These chips themselves are good, but the seasoning is like too limey almost. It's not trashy enough. Alright, I'm gonna up the mush 1 level. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna taste 1 bite of it, just to see the seasoning, and then I'm gonna add natto in here, because we need to get the probiotics in too. Homemade natto, black soybeans. Since I don't have soy sauce, we're going to put in a little Worcestershire. I'm gonna put in some crunchy garlicky bits. Ooh, bless me. All right, are we ready for the trash mix? Here, you get to see all the slimy bits now. Yeah. Successful natto, I think. You had your tongue pierced. Okay, that's pretty badass. I would never pierce my tongue because I eat too much. So I would be afraid of getting food stuck and an infection. What do you hate about your tongue piercing? Oh, are the Oscars tonight? Am I stealing the Oscars? Are you asking me when I got a nose ring? I got a nose ring last March. It's been almost a year. Sorry, I'm so behind on comments. Just give me like 3 minutes. Hello, Susan and your boys. The fabric is skinny corduroy. Really skinny corduroy. It's so soft too. I think it was just like the texture that got to me. I can't turn down a clothing fabric that just feels comforting, and that feels so comforting. These are not collard greens. What I just ate were radish top greens. Memo sat in the cat tree in the bottom cubby, yes. And yes, I don't like tahini. Everyone, please remember to dislike and unsubscribe. Which ring did you think is cool? I've had these for a while. I don't think these are super cool ones, but this one is very cool. I spent way too much on this ring. I think I spent like 25 on this ring, but it was too cool for me to not get. I think I need some MSG in here. Because with the natto, I need a little extra seasoning. Oh, actually, that wasn't even natto. I was going to put bonito on there. Let's try some of this really old furikake that expired June of 2022, y'all. We're coming up on 3 years of expiration date. I think it's fine. What an indulgence. Well, I don't think I started developing theory of mind until 34, so. Wow, I don't think the flavor is potent anymore with this furikake. Gotta do a second shake. Do you consciously develop masking strategies? Like maybe if you were diagnosed, but I think if I am indeed autistic and I've never been diagnosed, I don't even know I have autism, so I don't even know if I have to mask. I think I've just like, based on trial and error of what's landed me in punishment land, to not do that again. But that involved a lot of things that I learned I shouldn't do, which results in stress because you're constantly policing yourself. You're like, oh, that didn't work out for me last time, I shouldn't do that. And then the list just grows of things you shouldn't do. I think I've had cassava chips a couple of times. I don't think I'm a huge fan of cassava chips because they're too thin and like hard. I feel like they cut up my mouth a lot. They also feel super oily. Like, almost as oily as Lay's Classics, which is now not manageable with my acid reflux and all of my old people problems. Vitamin check. Eat your vitamins. Eat your vitamins. Garbage disposals are jealous of my cooking. Damn straight they are. I still have my sporks. I just don't use them as often. The sporks are titanium, and I don't know if you can see, but let me show you on another bowl. Especially on white bowls, they create these like faint pencil-like scratches. So I've stopped using them on white bowls. Which means I just don't reach for them as often anymore. Did anyone watch the Oscar contenders? Did you have any favorite movies this year? Let's talk movies. I'm in the mood to talk movies if you are. But Gary says you take after your mom with the appreciation of textiles. I've also heard that like autistic people are super sensitive to sensory shit, including fabrics. I wonder if my friend Daisuke is convinced that autism is genetic, so he's like, at least one of your parents has it. I'm pretty convinced that my dad probably is autistic on some level, because he's never really fit in, but maybe my mom was a super high masking autistic too, who knows? Or maybe she just had OCD. Apparently there's a lot of overlapping between autism and OCD. Mom definitely had some variant of OCD. If it's not OCD, it's something that exhibited OCD behaviors, for sure, so. You have to keep furikake in the fridge? Oops. Why? I thought it was all dehydrated. Is it for the sesame seeds? Yeah, Valeria says I have these epiphanies about people and would say them if I was shocked by the revelation, only to have people look at me shocked and deny the truth. again, yep, I've been there and I've done that and I received the same reaction. But only now I'm reflecting on two things. One is, you know, a lot of people don't like having mirrors reflected back to them about themselves. I do, I think. I don't know. I have been known to be reactive when receiving criticism too, so I get it. So some people just aren't ready. And then the secondary thing is like, it makes people hate you if they're not that close to you and they don't trust you, because then they think that you're like taking a dig at them. For me, it was just like a neutral observation, like, oh, wow, I just learned this thing about you that I didn't realize was a thing about you. But if they attribute a negative association with that trait that I pointed out, then it feels hurtful to them. So not everyone has the same brain, not everyone absorbs things the same way, not everyone reacts to things the same way. And now I'm just like, you know, maybe it's not worth saying these things because maybe they don't want it. Understanding what it is to be kind in the context of truth telling and lying has been very fascinating for me to navigate. I still don't know where I've landed on that, and maybe it's not something you can land on. The intersection of kindness on the spectrum of truth and lie is so mysterious to me. Cream of tartar to remove these marks. Okay, thanks for that, I'll try it. I heard the costume design in Conclave is cool. Doesn't seem like my kind of movie though. Do you think I would like it? Natto. Very fulfilling meal. Thanks for cooking with me, y'all. Shall we go see what Memo's up to? Take a little peek. Take a little peek at the boy. Hi, baby. Would you like some treats? You like the treats? Would you like more treats? My little sweet baby boy. I opened 3 cans for him today. He's not taken a single bite. But yes, the treats. I have to moderate the treats though, because sometimes he'll eat them too fast and then he'll end up throwing it all up. Which I no longer mind cleaning the throw up. I actually went out on Saturday and I found one pile of vomit right when I came back, but then I didn't find the second pile of vomit until like 4 hours later. Hi, baby. And I found out he threw up on his little heating mat. So I spent 12:30 a.m. midnight leaning over my kitchen sink, cleaning little dried vomit bits off of his heating mat. But no, what I worry about when he throws up is he just loses all the nutrition that we finally got into him. So, yeah. 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 You're so cute. Everyone loves you, right? You're just so difficult to take care of. I don't know how to take care of you, but I love you. I love you. His vet gave him an appetite stimulant, which I use on his ear, but the last 2 times that I used it, it wasn't really that effective, and it makes him run away from me and hide and act pissy for a few hours, so I wanted to just see how we can do without putting him through that, because I feel like he feels betrayed every time I do that. And I also have to like dedicate 30-40 minutes to stalk him out until he's napping, to finally get it in his ear. But here's the cat tree that we built. Bye, Memo. Oh, he left. He left us. And he likes to hide in the bottom cubby portion. All right, let's go back into the kitchen. It's really pretty. It's really pretty in that corner. And, you know, he still has his little short cat tree. He uses them as a scratching post most of the time. A friend told me I have the magical touch that Memo is still alive, and I replied, no, I just have money, you know. I have been throwing money at him, basically. Every day I basically waste 3 cans of food. I'm gonna taper back to 2, because at this point I think his appetite is just gonna dwindle. But I think the last month was just me trying to throw everything at him to keep him alive, and now I'm just at a point where I'm seeing there's no point in forcing it. So if he wants to eat, I'll open something for him. If he's meowing at me, I'll open something for him. If he doesn't eat it, then he doesn't eat it. I just consider it a part of the cost of upkeeping his life. And yeah, it's very disappointing, but hey, life is full of disappointments, so. Pedialyte for a cat? Is that safe? I really doubt he's gonna take it. My vet made me spend $30 on this thing. It's like Inshore for cats, but flavored like meat. $30. The boy does not lick it at all. A viewer recommended a brand of like oncology care food, so food made for cats with cancer. Apparently super yummy, so it, you know, opens up their appetite. It was $60 for a bag of dry. He's not touching it. Alright. That's why I finally got him the cat tree. I'm like, I keep buying you food and treats. You don't seem to love them. Let me just throw money, but in another genre of goodie for you. So, you know, I don't know if he's gonna go back into that cubby, but at least he liked checking it out for the first 2 nights. So, you know, All of my expenses on Memo is really an expense for me. It's because for my mental health, it makes me feel like I'm doing things. But at the end of the day, we will all die, so. I got him the Purina probiotic powder too. He'll lick feverishly with interest. And then he won't touch it ever again. I've wasted like 7 packets already just trying to get some into him. I don't get it. I don't get this guy. I got this for him too. Memo! Alright, well. My clothing was blocking your view, but he was in the corner of the door frame staring. I got this for him. I opened it up for him. He went crazy for it. He was like sticking his entire little face in there. Just trying to get the last bit out. And then the next day I opened another one for him. Didn't sniff it. I don't get it. I really don't. It's so frustrating. I was hoping that he would eat it, and I was so excited that he was so eager to lick every single bit out of it. And then the next day he didn't touch it at all. He's being a little weirdo right now. I don't know where he's hiding. I should make my apartment into a cat cafe. You're totally right. I've opened tuna for him. He ate it a little bit, wouldn't touch it again. I opened sardines for him this week twice, didn't touch it either time. It used to work. In January when he was dying, he loved both of those. Now it's very hit and miss. But it's been, it's March 2nd. We're coming up on almost 2 months of grandma passing away. So it's been like 6 weeks of me trying to understand what's going on with Memo and keeping him alive, and I think he's taught me a lot. He's taught me a lot in these last few months. I agree. I think maybe food hurts and he associates it with pain and he won't eat it again. I think you're right. I think there must be some sort of association going on. And it's really sad. Like sometimes he'll give me like a really mournful meow right before he throws up. So I know he's not feeling good, you know? But I talked to my vet last month about painkillers and he's like, yeah, I can give you some, but you have to get it between his lips and gums. And I was like, I don't know. The other option was like a huge pill that apparently I can't break up. I don't think Memo's gonna go for it. Secondarily, he says that basically all of these painkiller meds just kind of knock them out a little bit, which is kind of what grandma went through. In the last few months of her life, she was medicated, and sometimes if the dosage wasn't right, she would just be like lethargically knocked out. That even if she wanted to wake up and greet me, she would be stuck in this like halfway point between sleep and consciousness. So it's all a trade-off. I don't really know what's best for him. I only know what I can tolerate in terms of being too stressed out about how to handle this. So I'm considering what's good for me is also good for him, because if my mood gets too anxious or stressed, he's also going to suffer from that mood dip. And I've noticed that a lot. If I'm PMSing or going through my period cramps, or if I'm feeling really bad mental health wise, he also hides from me sometimes, doesn't eat. Well, he already doesn't eat, but like on those days he really doesn't eat. So I think it's a negative feedback loop. So it's made me very aware of how important emotion regulation is. Nice, Simona. I've tried baby food. He didn't touch it. I ended up eating it. I end up eating the human food he rejects.
Memo, do you want to come in here and say hi?
He's such a scaredy cat. He's truly the most scaredy cat I've ever met. He hides every time, no matter who's over to visit. And he'll stay in there for like half an hour to 2 hours after they leave. And he even gets spooked by me sometimes. And I'm just like, bro, chill. Anyway. If Memo's mood is a reflection of yours, shouldn't you be like, is he super stoned? Oh, yes. You're right. I should smoke all day, every day. Except, I would say 95% of the weed I've smoked does not give me munchies. I can count on probably one hand all the times I've experienced munchies. And it's very rarely weed that I smoke on my own. It's usually in the company of friends. So I feel like that is just my mood elation going up when I get high. It's just like I'm around friends, I'm already happy, my appetite is like open to receive, and then I get high, and that happiness and appetite just opens up even more. I feel like I've gotten munchies on my own maybe just once, maybe twice. Most of the time it's been in the company of friends. You need weed for encouraging your appetite? Damn. That's both a blessing and a curse. I'm sure some people are super envious that you don't have an appetite. AKA all the folks who don't need Ozempic, who are on Ozempic. But also that would make me so depressed if I had no appetite for food. I was so depressed when I found out I don't want to go into grocery stores for fun anymore. Before, when I took walks, I would want to walk into every grocery store I passed by. See their sales, see what weird stuff they were selling. Just like stroll. It was like a wonderland for me. And now I'm just like, do I want to bother? Not really, let's go home. And when I realized that that was like a new reality for myself, I got really sad. Memo has definitely trained me, yes, and I'm grateful to be trained. I've been thinking about relationships a lot, not just with animals, but with humans too, is like when you are with someone, whether it be a romantic partner or a professional partner or just family, when you're with them all the time, you have to accommodate each other and you have to kind of be malleable enough to navigate living together and I feel like Memo has changed me a lot. And I think for all healthy relationships, you must be open and desirous of the ways in which you change, not resentful or reluctant and unwilling to change, but doing it regardless. Hello, Memo. Um, and I feel like the ways in which Memo has trained me, I'm very appreciative of. He's made me so patient regarding like disappointment. He's not eating the food. He threw up on the bed, on the floor, on the carpet, on the rug, like, just slowly breaking me down, basically. uh, there's no scheduled feedings, but lots of cuddle time. This is a cat who doesn't like to play. He actually runs away from me when I try to play with him. Like he's scared and running away from me, not like he's excited and running away from me. So there's very few things I can do with him, but he seems to love petting, brushing. He purrs so intensely sometimes, so I feel like that's my most serviceable element for him, is to just give him all the love and brushies and pets I can. Yeah, when you lose your appetite or literally can't swallow food, that is a sign of death. When Grandma was dying, the hospice booklet basically said, when you get to that stage right before you die, your body can't swallow food. Which is why they probably put her on a puree diet. And I've been wondering lately if like my last few dumplings caused some sort of internal infection. Maybe she didn't like swallow down the right pipe and it got caught in her lungs. Either way, I've done so many things that have both kept Grandma alive and also killed her. Just ruminating sometimes on all the bad things that I've done, and I have done bad things, but it's just life. You do bad things sometimes. And the second time around, in grieving the loss of a family member, I've learned that you can definitely think about these things, but once you realize you're hurting yourself by thinking about them, you should stop. Because it's not productive to hurt yourself with regret and guilt and shame. What is productive is understanding what the shame, the guilt, the regret is identifying for you in terms of what you did not align with that you did. And that is the only way forward. I've said things to my grandmother. I've even like pushed her sometimes out of frustration, and I can tell myself I'm a bad person, or I can tell myself that I was thoroughly burnt out and resentful of the lack of support I had from family, and that it was an impossible situation to do perfectly. And once I allow myself that grace and forgiveness, I can then go on to dissect and digest what it is that I want to no longer do again in the future, and how to support myself in not repeating the same mistakes. I hear him eating on crunchies in the next room. And my computer just died, so I can't read your comments for a little bit. But that is life. 8:30. How are we feeling? I'm gonna read off comments on my phone. Your cat Snow is giving you a dirty look. Oh, go pay attention to Snow. You can watch us later. Hi, Felix. I hope I find my passion in grocery browsing again too. It's so fun. I would love to do it in a different country too. My dream is to just be nomadic and travel and live in different countries, but we'll see. We'll see what my body does, and we'll see what politics does, and we'll see how life pans out. Karen, that's okay. Your friend knows. Funerals are for the living, right? I did do my best. I really did do my best. Even after Grandma died, I was like doing all this running around for her paperwork and her death certificate and like getting it certified and apostilled for China's usage. And my dad was like, "Why are you doing this? Like you don't have to be responsible for this." And I was like, "Well, if I don't do it, who's gonna do it? I'm the only one who's capable of getting it done." So I do believe I did my best. Unfortunately, what hurts us the most when we self-reflect is realizing that even doing your best, you did it poorly. And there were moments that I truly regret, but I did them. I did them because maybe karmically I just had to learn. I just had to learn. It's not so much prevention, it's learning from mistakes. And I think one thing that my mom always tried to protect me and shield me from was making mistakes. But that also delayed my learning a lot. So it's just trade-offs. The learning doesn't go as deep when all you know is prevention. But different people learn differently. So, these are the stories that we tell ourselves, and this is the story that I'm telling myself to cope. Hello from Cali. Random question. Yes, I love answering the state questions because I have been through it. My mom died about a month ago and she had about $25 in account, so can I not settle small estate? Will cost more to file and I'm in for $4K. She gave money to. I don't know what that last half means, but I don't know where you live. It depends on where you live. The laws are different. In New York City, if your mom had less than $50,000 in assets, you can file for a small estate, small claims estate. And that filing in Queens County, where I live, only costs $1. There's a lot of legwork, forms to fill out and like notarize, but the court should have a notary who can do it for free. For me, it just costs $1 to file that. But my mom's assets went a little over 50K, which meant I had to hire a lawyer because at that point I was just so blindsided by her death. I didn't know where to begin to do any of this, and I didn't have time to figure it out because I was trying to sort out her house and I had a job to go back to. So I paid for a lawyer, and the lawyer fee was like $5,000. Steep, really steep. Lawyers are not cheap. And, she did her thing, but honestly, I feel like it's a thing that you can do for 1K. Just in terms of value, I needed it. It wasn't a great monetary value, but psychologically, emotionally, and physically, I wasn't capable of handling it myself. So it really depends on what your laws are where you live. He's not accustomed to eating in the kitchen. He's never eaten in the kitchen. Oh, hi, Melbourne, with a broken ankle. Ouch. I feel you though. My ankle was like sorely injured for over a decade. So if someone feels as though they didn't do their best, you have to live with the guilt and regret forever. I will. That's up to you. The guilt and the regret is for you. If you want to punish yourself and it feels good for you, I know it sounds weird, but if it does, it feels good to punish yourself. If it feels good to you to punish yourself forever, do it. But if you realize that the cost of punishing yourself outweighs the benefits of punishing yourself, maybe reconsider. Because when you punish yourself, not only are you making sort of like a half enemy of yourself, that kind of antagonistic feeling forms the foundation of your relationships with everyone else in your life, and it adds a sort of bitter tone to every facet, because you can't escape yourself. I can't escape myself. So if I'm always punishing myself, I'm always angry at myself, I'm always berating myself, that will flood out. That will just like by osmosis travel outwards. And so sometimes it's unkind, not only to yourself, but to the people in your life who still care about you and want to be with you and want to support you. Sometimes it's unkind to keep punishing yourself. So think about that too. Not a lot of snow. We got some. I wouldn't say it's a lot. We all punish ourselves in certain ways, right? And sometimes it's necessary. Like discipline feels like punishment. But when the punishment is done out of spite, rather than trying to teach yourself a lesson, that I think will engender more brokenness and bitterness. And it will ruin the soil and rob the soil of its fertility for growth. So only you know what works for you. And sometimes even you don't know. Sometimes it takes an outsider's perspective. And sometimes it just takes time. So whatever it may be, don't push yourself too much, too hard, too fast. We are not meant to go at ever accelerating speeds. My mom was a very self-flagellating person. I don't want to perpetuate any of that. Clearly it did not work out for her, and it landed me in this purgatory of sorts, you know, which I'm thankful for. Because it opened my eyes to a lot of things that I would have otherwise never have seen and never have understood. So mom's death kind of fast-tracked me to a lot of things. Oreo? And then I'm gonna probably go watch a movie with my food and see if Memo wants more food. Hopefully he does. All right. So, to compare, Here's how thin the vanilla Oreo is. And the yogurt Oreo is much more normal. But it has this flower opening. I've never seen that before. The design is different. And this Oreo is darker than this one. I think you can even tell on the screen. This one is browner. This one is more like a dark chocolate cocoa. Okay, so I'm just gonna taste the cookie on the vanilla first. Wow. The cookie almost tastes floral. Samira said this is her favorite flavor of Oreo. They're smart. I don't think these are real vanilla specks. I think they probably broke up some of the cookie and made it look like vanilla specks. It's nice. I would say for some reason the flavor on the vanilla Oreo tastes almost like a supermarket generic knockoff Oreo before it curves upward into the French butter cookie territory of like better ingredients feel. I don't know how to analyze that, but that was very fascinating. This is the yogurt one. I'm gonna do my favorite move, which is to separate the halves. And I wanna eat this one with less cream on it first. Yeah, very different taste. The cookie has way less flavor here. Way less. It's mostly just texture on this yogurt flavor one that looks more similar to the American Oreos I've had. The flavor of the yogurt filling is like sweet vanilla yogurt ice cream from the grocery store, and you can taste a little bit of the cardboard that it was packed in. Oh, it's tangy. It's got like a little bit of like the cream has a little bit like lemoniness to it. The cream is nice. It's got flavor. But the cookie, very unimpressed by this cookie. I think the vanilla definitely wins for tasting like something. Because when you eat the yogurt cream with the nondescript chocolate cookie, it just turns into a nondescript cookie.
Hi, baby. Hi. Oh, okay.
He meowed at me.
Do you want more food, baby? More food? No?
Guys, he's giving me very protesty meows, and I have no idea what's going on, but I think you're right. I think he wants attention. So I'm going to log off and give my cat some attention, because my cat's more important than you are. Right? Are you more important? Are you more important than... Okay, okay. Yes, he's more important.
are you doing? You feel healthy? Are you not dying anymore? You feeling good, baby? Meow. Okay. Treats? No treats? Done with treats? Oh. Come here. Can I pet you, please? My prince? Hi, baby. I just ate Oreos. Okay. You just kicked your treats everywhere, baby. You don't want these? You kicked your treats onto my part of the bed, too. Are you angry that I'm putting you on camera? No. You're so vocal tonight. All right, folks. I'm going to bid you adieu. Memo, wish everyone a good week. Okay, maybe not. How rude. So rude. He went into his hidey hole. That's a good cue for us. Bye, guys. Hope you have a good week ahead.